Another episode of Boo 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 Chatting with a Natty. Personally, I like the nickname Natty. I think it's catchy. For some natties, they don't love it. Other natties do love it. How does everyone feel about just invited my guest to hop on?
What
Brother,
is going on?
how you doing, man?
Dude, living the dream.
I'm so happy to hear that. What's up?
This
How's
is
it going?
this is the number one supporter we got. She's always there no matter what. So
No, I realize I don't know your name.
this is Emma.
Emma.
Yeah.
I've always liked that name. I've always liked that name. Emma's a great name. How's it going?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. I'm honestly there's a lot that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Before we get into like the real meat and potatoes, I was hoping that we could do some grounding.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. So we're doing our first big group Zoom call, which you're invited to, Emma.
Okay.
Yeah, you're totally invited to. We're doing our first big group Zoom call on Sunday the 19th. And I'm working very closely with Eric Sawotin, as you know, Sam. And it's really looking like things are about to pop off within the year. And I feel like a chapter is closing so far as my own personal ambitions and aspirations of like really creating some kind of forward momentum. And I feel like the moment of like having to put in all the energy and like do all like the thinking power and all this stuff is about to kind of like be released, and it's about to start taking on a mind of its own. And just to get to the point, I've always been aware of this, like not a fear of success, but almost like a reluctance of the transition of like having my own level of self-confidence and knowing what I'm capable of, and then having it be recognized, and then it's no longer a question because the question has now been answered, and now we're on the other side of that answer, and
Yes.
it's just like a new chapter, you know?
Yes. It's so funny. You know what? Today I was on a walk this morning, just to relate a little bit. I started verbally journaling to myself, and that's what I spoke out. Like it just kind of came out of me today where I was like, this is like new territory, and it's so neat because I've never experienced a new territory this way. So it's just it's kind of, yeah, like I completely agree with you. So here we are.
Yeah. It's weird. I've always wanted to be successful, and to understand that like the chapter of like perceived success is like really happening. It's just kind of uncomfortable. You know, I've been alive for 34 years, and this has been the focus like my entire life. Anyway,
No, I completely hear you. And I even thought when I was journaling today, I was even writing myself like, it's not like a fear of failure. I don't think I'm not gonna get there. I just think it's very intriguing to actually believe that it's already in the process. Like it's already happening. So like the fear of it not happening, like, is gone, you know?
I know exactly what you mean. And honestly, it's at the point now where I don't even think it matters if we were afraid or not, because it's getting to this type of forward momentum where whatever kind of resistance or reluctances or reservations or hesitancy, it feels like it's like just about to be outside of our hands. And like
Yes.
we kind of created this snowball effect, and it took a while to generate and pick up steam, but with we have like 3 group Zoom calls scheduled, and after that, it's like really off to the races. We got to see what happens, and we continue to make adjustments. And we understand, you and I understand, and other individuals understand that this is incredibly important, not only to the sport, but also to the entire, from my perspective, the entire human population, because we should all be prioritizing our health and wellness and longevity in a way that is conducive to a better and more improved quality of life. So if we all understand that this is the purpose of this movement, then we have to continue. This
Yeah.
is not for self-gain. This is for the improvement and the betterment of everyone. So when we keep that in mind, it's like, what's the point of being afraid? Like, what's the point in caring about being afraid or like being reluctant? Like, we know that this work has to get done, so now we're just doing it.
Yep. Oh
Yeah.
boy, I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a nice little pep talk. I
Hell yeah.
appreciate you taking
Let's
the
go.
time. to talk
We're
about
locked in. We're locked in.
Okay, so Emma, thank you so much for being available for this call. I asked Sam to bring you on just because for me, like I'm a storyteller, and if I look at like the great sport biopics that have been produced from Hollywood, like you can't have a story without female representation. It's not a real story. It's just not doesn't work like that. And I've been telling Sam it's like we need more female representation, and he speaks very highly of you and your level of support. So maybe we can just hop into it. I don't even want to ask that many questions. I just want to know thoughts and feelings and feedback and reflections and everything. Anything you guys want to share, I'll guide it. But like, just hop into it.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm an open book. I'm excited for this, and yeah, whatever you'd like to know, go ahead.
The first thing that comes to mind is you both watched that Christian interview.
We
Yes.
watched it together live. Yes.
Okay, so let's start there, and then we can work backwards or forwards from there. What were your thoughts on that?
Go ahead. You go.
Um, it was a very interesting interview. It was really cool to see the way that kind of like the viewpoints were different, but also towards the same objective of wanting it to ultimately be a benefit to people and not like something that is kind of selfish. So that was really cool to see how you're kind of bouncing ideas off of each other and everything. Yeah, I enjoyed the interview a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's-
it was real neat. I think there was some real time realizations in the moment, which was really cool. Like it made me take a step back. Like Christian really, like he explained, like he kind of like stepped back and created that viewpoint from like 100 miles away, which sometimes when you're kind of locked in and kind of doing your thing, like you don't think of too much. So you kind of attach yourself to opportunities as they come, but you don't realize what kind of impact that could have on others or the way they may perceive the project or the way that, you know what I mean? Like my goal ultimately is to reroute at every available time to be able to service the best version of myself to the world. So it's like if I can get a new opportunity to see that, Christian literally just like slapped it right in the middle. He's like, it's unfortunately we live in like a capitalistic world where there's already systems in place and there's already these things. So it's like, how do you work with both to be able to get to the same ideal, which is, a more peaceful world, right? And that he really shined a light on it. And I think that it was so cool because afterwards we had a conversation, like it almost felt like Christian was in the room, like he like it was like we had to like have this conversation after where we really felt like we asked ourselves questions like, are we really in pursuit of the right thing here? Like, is taking part in this project our true calling? Because like, man, I don't want people to think that like I'm doing something and for a selfish reason. Like, I don't want that. Like, what the hell? That is not the point. So if I can take anything from what Christian said, it's make sure that you do scale back and have that viewpoint, because it's really important for me to portray what I'm doing with clarity, with intention, with like this project that like when I started on this project, like it's not for me. Like I've been doing this forever. So it's like the fact that this is your project that I can be involved with and I can try and help. Like here we are. So it's like I don't want people to think that the Natty King or like the way people look at it is like a grift or anything like that, because I don't think it is. Like it's really not. So yeah.
Man, Christian really said some things that I'm still reflecting on. By the way, just out of curiosity, is there a Roomba
A
or like
Roomba?
A Roomba or like a fan?
Oh, so I have a big fish tank with a filter on it. There's
Oh, okay, no worries. No, I thought it was a Roomba, so I just wanted to confirm for like.
no, no. So it's a fish tank with a filter on it.
No
So the
worries, no
water.
worries.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the topic, yeah. So one big frustration I've always had with people, like when I get into conversations with people like Christian, and they give me the perspective of like, okay, your strategy resembles that of any other oil tycoon, John D. Rockefeller, like a baron, like a robber baron, who like is thinking capitalistically. He came up with a really great idea to, monetize a brand and then market it into a way that you can generate billions of dollars and start a movement, right? My issue with that has always been they suggest, would you rather save a single life or turn a million people rich? And they present that as like the philosophical argument that pokes a hole in my strategy. And my issue with that has always been saving one life. Like, it's life doesn't work like that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not in a position where it's that option of saving one life and making a million people rich. I'm actually in the position where I can save one life on a daily basis and still make a million people rich.
Yeah.
And like that's how I honestly see this opportunity.
Yes.
So yeah, so when I have a conversation with someone like Christian, I can't help but get frustrated because it's like, I get it. You think that you're morally righteous in your pursuit of like sticking up for like the little guy and stuff like that. But the people who are in the highest positions of power, they have wealth and influence and authority in a way that people that you're sticking up for, the little guy, they don't have. So in order to help people on a massive scale, my strategy has always been to position ourselves in a high level of power and authority, because those are the people who are moving the levers already.
Yes.
But
No, I totally hear you. And I think we just need more people moving levers that have very generous intentions with the goals, right?
yeah, I get confused, man, because people espouse on not wanting kings or leaders, and like you saw the interview, like he had an issue with like the title itself, like the Natty King. Like, what does it mean to be a king? I don't believe in kings and stuff like that. But if you look at the entire history of like the human species, even if we look at the Bible, they were asking for kings. They did not. They wanted someone who was like a figurehead, a person in the position of power and authority and leadership. And like that's what a king is supposed to represent. They're supposed to serve their people and be a leader and make decisions in a way that the collective group don't want to or are unable to. So
Yeah.
I've always like been questioning, if this is like the nature of our human psychology, then why are we like resistant to the fact that like this is what humans in general want?
Yeah. I think honestly, I don't really know the answer to that question, but I think that we are, as humans, we move in herds. We're communities. Like we've always been like that. There's always been like that top dog, or there's always been that someone who decides to kind of advance forward or be the spearhead of a movement or be the spearhead of their community or kind of, keep advancing it forward. And it's like, I think they just naturally arise. Does that make sense? It's like no one really chooses them. They just naturally arise. And it's gotten us to this place where, like, if you go to Eastern cultures, like a lot of times, like they still really, really respect the elders. They still really respect the people that decided to be those spearheads. And unfortunately in the Western world, in the Western hemisphere, like there's no one calls the shots. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's a bad thing, especially when the intentions are right.
I don't think it's a bad thing either, and I think that for the majority, I feel like people kind of have a sour taste in their mouths because it typically is the case that the personality type of a person who seeks leadership, who seeks authority, who seeks like high positions of influence, they are coming from a philosophical perspective of I can and I will, and I'm going to take for myself. And it's like all about self gain. And that's kind of why they motivate themselves. I was talking to a personal trainer the other day, and it like it didn't break my heart, but it was like sad to hear. And I'm quizzing him about like his perspective on the world. A personal trainer, and he says, I would rather live in a world full of losers than winners because it makes self gain that much easier. Because if
Oh,
everyone else is like this level of motivation and this level of like pursuit and drive and persistence and perseverance, and he's up here, well, guess how much easier it is for him to move through this world when everyone else is not competing at the same level.
yeah, that's kind of discouraging to hear because you want people to be able to you like the whole point of leadership, in my opinion, is to be able to get to a position where like everybody around you can also have the self-confidence to be able to challenge ideas and to be able to challenge the next best option for the community or whatever's going on. You don't like that's kind of yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, man. And just like the idea that it's coming from a personal trainer whose his responsibility is to empower his clients so that they can seek the best version of themselves. And he's literally saying he'd rather live in a world full of losers. It doesn't make any sense to me. And you also apply this to the fact that like we are living in a capitalistic society, and he's just one of like how many people are thinking like that and using this mentality to motivate themselves to like move through the world fluidly, thinking like, haha, I'm smarter and better and more motivated than these like losers that are just like doom scrolling on their phones. I'm going to pretend like I'm helping them. I'm going to pretend like I'm getting them in shape when in reality, very similar to what Christian was saying, this is a grift. I'm going to take on 10, 20 clients. I'm going to charge them this money. I'm going to get financial gain from it. And then I'm going to improve the quality of my life at the detriment to these other people.
Yeah.
You know.
That's so
Anyway.
no, I hear you. I hear you. It's a very fine line, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
very fine line. Like unfortunately, like in the world we do live in, like things do cost money. Things do, you know, like money is required to operate in this world, but you shouldn't have that in your mind when you're trying to help someone. You're trying to get them so that they can see it for themselves. Like I preach this with a couple of clients I work with. It's like I don't want you to be my client forever. I want to teach you enough so that you can kind of take this on for yourself because that's the whole goal of my leadership. Like I'm supposed to get you to be thinking for yourself because you looked for guidance I gave, and now you can guide yourself. You know?
I very much agree. I very much agree, and I've always felt that same way as well. Where I would like to set each client up for success. I love the concept of a self-governing society. I love the concept. Has it been put into practice with like high levels of efficiency? And the thing that you also have to keep in mind is as the population gets bigger. So if you start with like a tribe of, and again, we have to keep this in mind because what we're doing is building our own tribe within like this Natty King empire thing, right? So right now we've got 10 athletes, you being one of them, Emma being a part of, she's associated with this tribe because she's your girlfriend, right? Not like fiance or anything like that, right?
Yes, not yet.
Girl, not yet.
I love that. I love that. Okay, but like you get what I'm saying. So we've got 10 athletes. We've got Eric Sorotin, who's essentially, I don't even like to call him just a social media manager because he's a lot more than that. But we've got people who are being attached to this project, right? And it's a number that you can count on all the digits of your hands and feet currently, right? As that empire expands and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, more rules need to be set in place. Standards need to be set in place. There needs to be a higher level of communication and governance because the bigger that it gets, the more incentive there is to make sure that everyone is on the same page.
Yeah.
And that's where, again, leadership comes into play.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to self-govern with 10, 20, 30, 40 people. The minute that you have 1,000 number tribe or 1,000 person community, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that's why there needs to be like mission statements set in place. There needs to be parameters set in place. And I know we spoke as well that like it's like I don't want to go as like don't take this from a religious perspective, but like there is 10 commandments. Like there is things that people follow that societies have benefited from and have been able to mimic to be able to function well. And it's like we need to kind of sit around the round table, right? We need to be able to all talk to each other, like these calls coming up, and really discuss and get to the root of what our mission is here, and break out different ways of applying that in the real world.
Yes, and on that note, I really want to. This is why I'm happy to talk to you today. Is I would like to get as far away from a dictatorial. Whatever, you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
A dictatorial. I know that's not the correct pronunciation.
A dictatorship, you know.
We'll go with
Yeah,
that.
I
But
hear
I
you.
want to get as far away from that structure as possible. And for me, and as a storyteller, I'm looking at what we're doing. I'm drawing a lot of inspiration from Star Wars and the Jedi Council, right? And when you first drop into that story, it's like the Jedi Council have been around for however hundreds, thousands of years within that Star Wars franchise universe, right? If we're looking at this as like the formation of the Jedi Council, I've been asking the question, how do councils of such an order even get formed? Is it one person or is it a collection of people? The
Right.
answer is that whenever it comes to long-standing traditions, it is typically not the case that one person comes up with all of the rules of an organization or of a tradition that gets followed or a ritual, right? That happens from community and communal communication. So when I take that in mind, and we already have like the original 10 athletes, right? And I've been talking to Eric about this as well. Like we've kind of already started discussing what a code of ethics or a code of conduct or like a bare minimum standard would look like so far as this community is being built. And my push is that we form that communally. Like I don't come up with the rules as to like, okay,
Right.
here's how you act as a part of this empire team thing. Like we're not. I don't come up with the rules. Instead, the bare minimum requirement that I'm going to suggest on the group call on October 19th is that every athlete who is on the team, every athlete that is on the roster, I'm going to ask, is it a big ask or a small ask to meet with one other member of the team on a bi-weekly basis?
Oh yeah, like virtually too, or like yeah, that would be so
Virtually.
neat. You know what? I think checking in on each other and kind of having that would be super neat because then we get to like evolve it with more communication as it goes. And yeah, no, that's really I could do that.
Yeah, because from my perspective, up until now, the sport of bodybuilding has been considered a very solo sport. It's been a solo experience. And the only way that the Natty King is going to beat the Mr. Olympia, because that is the storyline. Like, let us not be mistaken. The storyline is that the Natty King will be a bigger title than the Mr. Olympia, bigger cash prize, and a bigger sense of value and a
Yeah.
bigger sense of recognition for the entire planet. For the entire planet. So in order to do that, it has to feel like a unified goal that all the athletes are participating in. This is not about the glorification of one specific person. This is about the glorification of natural human potential. And we do that by submitting our egos and allowing ourselves to get together and fight for this common cause.
So do you think it would be a cool idea? So once we kind of have like these parameters set in place as to like the minimum standard of operations that we kind of desire for the team, like should we almost like be calling each other and being like, hey, have you checked your boxes this week? Are you chasing the best version? Like, should there be like prompting questions we should be discussing with each other? Or what did you have in mind?
I'm glad that you asked that. So again, I like to start off very small. I like to start off very small. My recommendation would be we would pair up. Like, have you ever seen Remember the Titans?
I don't think so.
You can see it. It's actually one of the better sports documentary. Well, based on a true story sports film. It's based on a true story sports film. It's one of the better ones that Hollywood produced. It's Denzel Washington. He plays the coach. I've always looked at Denzel Washington as like I'm a competitive person, so it's like if Denzel's the best actor, I'm looking to compete against him, you know. And I would, I am. But anyway, Remember the Titans is a really good movie. I highly recommend. But essentially, what I'm thinking is bare minimum it's either I pair you guys or you guys volunteer who you'd like to work with for like the next 3 weeks or 3 months. So let's say you want to pair with, I don't know, just pick an athlete on the team, Domain. Just yeah, let's say you wanted to pair with Domain, right? Domain's like, cool. So now every 2 weeks, you guys are responsible for scheduling an Instagram live to sit down and chat for minimum 20 minutes and just
Yeah.
chat. No rules, like no prompts. Just literally, just have a 20-minute conversation with your fellow team member because you guys are part of this movement and we are doing this together, and it's supposed to be a unified front. And then maybe after 3 months have passed and you've done it, however, 6 times, we switch it up, and now you're meeting with a new teammate, and we proceed in that way.
I think that would be great because then you can kind of discuss like, hey, like I saw your live about A, B, and C topics. Like, what are your takes on it? And then you kind of get to just build from that, right? Like the foundation gets built through just conversation, and it's almost like an icebreaker. It's like we don't even know each other, and I think we need to get to know each other. And I think getting together in person is not really doable yet. So I think that, yeah, after this Zoom call, we're going to, like tonight, for example, like it's so funny that Daniel's in the chat there. What's up, Daniel? Like Daniel, like I literally was on the way to the gym today. I'm like, I took my pre-workout. Daniel's like, yo, can I join you today? And then he literally got to the gym, and then it was like, we just ended up having discussions that would have never happened. So you just have to like, because it's never happened, because we're creating a movement where I don't think we're replicating on anything from the past, like it just needs to happen, and it just needs to keep moving forward, and instead of trying, like, even like, for example, like you said, every 3 months, like I think like that's too rigid. Like I think we just need to be more fluid with it. I think there just needs to be more flow in general, like the so I'm not too certain, but that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, no, I'm in a complete agreement with you. I think that when it comes to a desire for flow and organic interaction, you and I are locked in. Eric is obviously locked in. Like he feels this purpose in his like gut to like actually make sure that this movement is moving forward. However, what I'm observing with the other athletes is, and again, it's not their fault because the sport has been structured as a solo experience. So it's like you go to the gym, you eat your diet, you get your sleep, you do your posing routine, and then like you compete on the day of, and you either win or you lose, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat. That is not the story, and that is not the structure of this movement. It's just like a completely different reworking of what the sport could be. So we
Yes.
basically have to train this new practice and this new perspective on the athletes and how they interact with each other in relation to actually competing against each other for the title of the Natty King.
I completely agree. And I think the hardest part about it is this sport is, in a sense, you have to be very careful that, are you pursuing this for an ego reason, or are you pursuing this for a self-development reason? Like I was watching your podcast with, I forget the nice woman's
Sarah.
name.
Sarah.
Yeah. So she was talking about how like okay, so I firmly believe that like every single decision I make and everything I do in the authentic version of Samuel me will allow me to live a spiritual life forever. Like I don't think that my life here on earth is like it. So like when I breathe my last breath, like did I check every box for the right reasons? And I think it's hard because this sport is so ego driven that it's like the reworking of that mindset is going to be like, it's so polarizing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So
I
I
do
don't
know
know.
what you're saying. And I guess like the way I see it, and again, like I'm looking to install like bare minimum requirements. Like you say, you would rather it be like a flowy, organic kind of reach out. I'm saying if the bodybuilders or the athletes who are already on the team can't perceive that, then we need a baseline. We need like a minimum requirement. And if the minimum requirement is, all right, you're paired with this athlete for like the next 3 months, and you just got to meet with them every 2 weeks. That's the bare minimum. Can you accommodate that? If you can't, then we need to rethink your association with this project.
Yes, yes.
You know?
Because it's like you got to get the ball rolling somehow, communication rolling somehow. And if you can't even see that, like, oh, like if you see it like, oh, I got to meet up with this guy this week, and like because you might be competing against him in like a year from now or something, it's like then you don't get what we're doing. Like you're not in unison with that whole idea, because it's like I could care less if I win on the stage. Did I check my boxes as the human I am? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the silliest part is, I mean, if we're just taking the money out of it, prior to this project, prior to this competition, there was no money in natural bodybuilding. So, like, what was this whole motivation to be a champion in the realm of natural bodybuilding? It was so, like, just self-aggrandizing, just completely self-aggrandizing. You're not getting paid, not really. So it's like, oh, I'm number one. I'm the best. I get my trophy. Look at me. I'm number one. It's so dumb. It's
Yeah.
so dumb.
Yeah. It's like it needs to transition, like it needs to transition into, like, that should have never been how it is in the first place. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know how the sport got this way, to be honest with you. Like, it makes no sense, because at the end of the day, like, if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for my family, if it wasn't for my parents, if it wasn't for my coach, or if it wasn't for my community, like, I didn't do this on my own. Like, what makes me think that I did this on my own? So it's the fact that you get to be even closer to other athletes, and even closer to other people who are going through that fire to find the best versions of themselves. It's like, don't you want to learn from them? Don't you want to know more? Don't you want to understand perspectives from different places? And don't you want to evolve as a human? Like your call, like my calling is human evolution. So how do you not identify with that if you drop your ego? You know? Like, how? Like, there's no other answer. Like, I don't
That's,
know.
I mean, that's exactly why you and I click, because that's honestly my calling as well, and that's been my calling for 11, if not 12 years. Human
Yeah.
evolution has been that's the story that I want to tell over the course of my entire lifetime. Is the
Yeah.
process of, and the evolution of a human continues for as long as that specific human makes the choice. As
Yes.
long as you make the choice to continue to evolve, you can be evolving in your 80s and 90s and 100s. You truly can. You can make that choice.
And you touched on it with what it was, her name Sarah,
Yes.
and the growth mindset part, right? Like, growth mindset, I love how she said it. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
just choose. Like, literally, like, it's, and we talk about this all the time. And it's like, whenever we're having, like, you know, our rough patches, or we're discussing tough topics, it's like, all right, step back. We have a choice here. And is the choice to not figure it out, or is the choice to figure it out? So if we can come to the commonality and the understanding that we're going to figure it out, then growth mindset needs to be the next step. It's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. And if you don't make that choice, then you're not going to get anywhere, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, you definitely get it. And I think if I can empower you to be more vocal, obviously, like, things will change. Like, we've got the 3 group Zoom calls coming up in, like, we got it on the 19th, maybe on the 22nd. I don't have the other 2 dates memorized. But I'm urging a transition. And
Yeah.
I want the athletes and everyone who's associated with this project to start seeing their own roles within this movement.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to feel confined to a singular identity. So
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
if we're to take a look at you, yes, you're the 10th athlete cast on this project. What
Sure.
does that mean to you?
But yeah, that's it. Am I? No, I don't know. I think I'm just on my honest pursuit of oneself, and it just tied into this whole project somehow.
Correct.
And it's like, I don't care about looking cool or having this persona. It's like, is it evolving the people around me? And if the answer is yes, well, I guess that's what's going to happen. You know?
Well, well said. Yeah, and again, I'm asking for your help to make sure that other people can understand that you are not defined by the role that we're using to market you.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes. It's like, it's as if forget it even happened. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like the idea of this project was like a seed planted, right? And now that the seed's planted, just water it. Like, do the things outside of what you think this project is about. Just develop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just grow, just communicate, just be the most authentic version of yourself, and like, the project will come to fruition as we go. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at. Like I completely, like, I don't see myself as the 10th athlete. I just see myself as Samuel, the authentic version of me that gets to live out my true self. And if that, aids the project of helping the world, then hey, it does, you know?
Because like
Amen.
the athletes who are like doing this on their own before you like chose them and stuff. So just continue what you're doing. Like just keep doing the pursuit that you were already on before this like kind of formed together. It's like
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Absolutely. Personally, when I'm looking at it from, again, a storytelling perspective and the storytelling being grounded in the fantastical, epic nature of, let's say, an anime, right? If we're looking at like a Naruto or a One Piece, those are my favorite, or Dragon Ball Z or whatever, right? And I'm reading this, and I kind of pointed it out last time I think I met with you. Phil Jackson, 11 rings, one of the greatest NBA coaches of all time. He coached Michael Jordan to 6 championships, and then he proceeded to coach Kobe Bryant to 5 championships. So I'm reading this book, and what I love about it is that if you set yourself to the task, your brain and your body is incredibly intuitive, like by itself. So the only thing that this book is doing is basically reaffirming the strategies and philosophies and ideologies that I'm already developing before I picked up the book. And he's just telling me the ideas that I'm already like kind of running around with, they work, right? So when I look at Phil Jackson, like what his goal was, if you take someone like Michael Jordan, who is considered the greatest basketball player of all time, right? He walks into the team and he thinks, okay, I'm the greatest and I'm going to win championships, right? That mentality, that mindset was not enough to unify the entire team to work together to win championships. Instead, the way that Phil Jackson described it is Michael Jordan had to experience an awakening.
Yes.
He had to become more aware of what he had to do in order to unify that team, and that was compassion. Compassion being one of the core skills and values that Michael Jordan started developing once he developed the awareness that this is what will be required. He had to find a way to love each one of his teammates and that be the core motivating factor that unified everyone, right? So to your point, Emma, yes, all the athletes, if they just keep doing what they're doing, they're moving the needle forward, and now they're like in association with this project. But my true desire is to inspire an awakening with everyone who is attached to this project so that they
Yes.
can open up their eyes and their perception as to the true value that they can provide beyond
Yes.
just what they've been doing up until this moment.
Yes. It's like you can't even be the greatest. Like if you think you're gonna be the greatest and you don't think that it requires us to drop the ego and just give and have some compassion or some care or some, like, I'm sure Michael Jordan like thought he was crossing every T and dotting every I to be the greatest of all time before he got introduced to the idea that you actually aren't doing that and there's more. So it's like we need to instill, like, and I like almost had these realizations like relatively around the time we met too, where it was like, man, I want to be the greatest of all time. I think I'm the greatest of all time for who I am and what I'm doing, but I actually can't be because now, like even like the conversation with Christian, the conversation with, it's like there's more to do. There's more work to do, and it's like, yeah, there's an awakening that happens, and you just need to be open minded every single day to the possibilities of there being more you could do for the greater good.
100%. And if you look at it like this, let's say you are the greatest of all time, right? You're the greatest of all time today, but the tomorrow you should be able to beat the greatest of all time of today.
Yes.
So we should always be able to perceive an improvement and a growth. And it is not specific, again, for this project, it is not specified to your own personal growth. It is specified to how do you interact and relate with other people? How do you interact and relate to your teammates? And we really have to create that understanding that everyone who's associated to this project, this is a project that saves the world, essentially. That's the storyline, right? So how do you relate and interact with the teammates who are attached to this project?
you have to understand where they're coming from, meet them where they are, right? It's one of those things like it we have to get we're on the same page, Shaun, but I don't know if everybody else is. So it's like I think it should there needs to be a series of questions that we ask each other on this next call coming up that is like how do you view this project and how do you interpret it? Because no one can teach you the perspective we have. It has to come from within if you understand that the world needs to change. Like I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling and babbling here, but it's I think there needs to be some more direct questions because it's like if you're part of this movement, if you're part of this project and you don't understand that, like you're saying, like you have to ask yourself, am I interacting with this person for the collective whole's benefit? And if that's the answer is not yes, then re-question your direction. Because every single time that personally I interact with people, I always think of it in like different layers of like advancement. So like if I answer this way, they might be able to better understand me from one perspective, but not this perspective. So I have to answer for taking into account all perspectives so that they get the like it's almost like an average. You have to weigh out all the best ways to answer and to understand someone so that you get the best average. Does that make sense? Instead of just like answering one way because that's what the moment requires. You have to kind of step back and go, yeah,
You're kind of answering. What you're saying is like this is exactly what we're going for. You're not just answering in the moment. You're answering like to the universe. It's like
yes,
you're giving the universal answer.
yes. And it's like you need to have a very grounded understanding of who you are and what you're doing to be able to pull that off, because if you don't, you're gonna get tricked by your ego. Like you're gonna be tricked, and you're gonna want to answer for the hormones going on in your body. You're gonna answer for the emotion you're in. Like you need to be very stoic and you need to be grounded to be able to view the world that way. And I don't think that comes very easy. Like that's always a work in progress, of course. Like you're never gonna get it right every time. Like that's not real. It's just I always talk with Emma too. It's like every time we discuss our next best step, that next best step needs to be multi-layered as I'm speaking. Like we need to go, is this best for, the family immediately? Is this going to be best for our children? Is this going to be best for the generations after us? Is this going to be best for the people that interact with us that don't know us? Is this going to be best for the people that do know us and may have a predetermined judgment of you? Like it doesn't matter what people think of you. You just need to be thinking of them. I don't know if that makes sense.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And like I think that's incredibly layered that you guys have such discussions like that. That's super cool.
We do
Yeah.
our best. We do our best. Honestly, it's like, yeah, yeah. I love you.
Emma, I would like to hear more about your perspective as to could you, if you had to, like, let's say you're being interviewed and we're actually making the docuseries. Like, we're in full production. We're in 2028, and we've got like a camera crew at your place, and we want to learn more about the relationship between you and Sam. Sam is like a very vocal member of this project, and he's like a shining light. He's got so much heart. I would love to better understand. What's your interpretation? Like what's your like how would you put this what we're doing into words?
Hmm. It's really, I think it's really hard for me to put it into words because I'm not as vocal of a person, just like my personality. And so it's really inspiring just seeing Sam and how much he is so passionate about this project, and he's so excited about the influence that he can have and that this movement is creating. And like I've watched it grow to what it is now, and like sort of the accumulation of the athletes has been very interesting. That's it's so amazing to see how he's opened up to being like the best version of himself, and now he's like very vocal about it with communities, even whether it's through work or through people who come up to him at the gym or having these conversations on lives and stuff. I think it's just brought like your passion to being the best version of yourself, and the passion you have for helping others to a spotlight. And like it's really not about the number one prize or the title. It's like how it can inspire others.
Yeah, if they can, if I can manage to influence your life for the positive, just by 1%, half a percent, 0.0001%, then I did my job. And if I'm just being me, moving through life, and you get influenced by it, like my dream has come true. Like,
and it's amazing because like nothing has really changed in our personal life.
Changed.
Like everything's the same. Like I'm like he's still working out. The meals are still being made. Like he's eating the same foods and stuff like that. So it's not like it's just like you kind of said, like a larger awareness of yourself and how you can channel your energy into different areas and can reach further than you thought possible. What's that?
Wow, thank you for articulating that. That's honestly, that's yeah. You said it in the way that like that's how I see this project. You know,
Great.
um, yeah, it's been my goal for people to. I don't know. I've always felt that people kind of limit themselves so far as like what they think that they can accomplish in this lifetime,
Yeah.
and the purpose of this project is to inspire people to think and dream bigger. You
Yeah,
know.
it's definitely written in our society to not think freely, and it's like even today, like I had a hater in my comments saying like this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, and I was like, I am so happy that you are free enough to express your opinion. Like to me, like honestly, the fact that you have the like you could have felt like that and said nothing, but you know what, you at least you felt free enough to express yourself. And I'm not gonna to feel negative about your comment, or I'm not gonna let it affect me in what I'm doing, because I don't believe that myself, and that's what truly matters is my own self-belief. So yeah, like yeah.
No, I treat hater people the same exact way where I really come from a place of I don't even want to use the word pity. I use the word empathy
Yeah.
because to receive negativity, it just makes me think that they are moving through the world in a perspective of negative. Like they're seeing like their reality is a negative reality, and I empathize with them. And
Yeah.
it is my hope I am doing every single thing in my power to suggest that you don't have to exist in such a reality.
Right.
I,
Just keep shining your own light from within. And if it influences them to the point that they can see change within that for themselves, that would be fantastic. And if not, then just keep living. Just keep moving forward. Because like you said, it's like I remember you made a post a little while ago that I truly connected with. It was like, if they want to eat cake, let them eat cake or whatever. And it's like, because unfortunately, like we live in a reality that not like I think it's very utopian to be able to think that 100% of the world will think this way, of course, but you can't let that discourage you from moving forward regardless. And that's what I kind of picked up from that is what you it's and it's like maybe this person in this frame of time doesn't see it yet for themselves, but that doesn't mean I'm going to change anything. And maybe I run into that person again in life and they come up to me and they say, you know, maybe they ask for help, or maybe they give you a comment back, a positive comment back, and you did nothing other than just kept shining your light. And if that's the reason that they came around full circle, then it's like, great. And if not, then that is the reality of the world.
100%. What I've arrived at so far is my own, because this is all about like emotional intelligence. You know, like when it comes to your IQ, there is like you're kind of like born with like your own set level of intelligence. But when it comes to your EQ or your emotional intelligence, your opportunity to expand and develop and refine and hone your EQ is essentially infinite.
Yeah.
You can develop it over the course of your lifetime if you choose.
But there's a caveat to that. If you choose, do you know what I mean? Like it's not like, yeah, like you have to be able to be in that growth mindset at every, like you have to literally look at every interaction as a possibility to learn something for yourself. And not like in a selfish way, like what can I gain from this interaction? It's like you're somebody else, I'm me, so you're uniquely you. So there has to be something I could pick up off of this experience to be able to put in my own inventory to help, or vice versa. Like if I'm being my authentic me, you're being your authentic you. Every interaction has value. So to think that it doesn't, you're missing the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you're
man.
like that is human evolution. Like human evolution is like you should be able to pick up on that and apply it to your life immediately, or you're behind the ball. Like you're not in the present moment.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're spot on, and I think it's a matter of being incredibly curious, just being
Yep.
incredibly curious, and you never cease asking questions. You never cease asking questions. The minute that you stop asking questions, your mind starts coming closer, and you want to keep it open. Like you want like a 360 view of the world, right?
Yeah.
When I listen to you talk, and I've been feeling like this for like the past month or so. I don't know if you've watched Naruto. Did you watch Naruto, or do you have any familiarity with that anime?
Like I had a buddy that introduced it to me in high school, and like honestly, I don't know shit about it.
That's
But
fine.
I definitely, you know what I mean? Like, you know when you vibe with something and you just don't know why? It's like I just vibed with it, and I guess I like, so I couldn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah, man. When I listen to you talk, you give me such Naruto vibes, like the actual main character from that anime. Your belief system, your enthusiasm, your positive outlook on the world. He's it's like infectious. He's an infectious personality. He comes against an obstacle, whether it be a person or a thing, and he figures out a way to overcome it. And he
Yeah.
never, like, there's never a moment where he's like, okay, well, I guess I should give up because this obstacle is too great for me to.
Well, that's
Wow.
not an option. That's not an option. It's
Exactly.
like I talked to Dan about it in the gym today. I probably sounded like an absolute maniac, but I was like, so we have this thing in between Emma and I. We're like, if it's not apples, oranges, bananas, why is it in our equation? So we kind of that I know that sounds absolutely nuts, but it's like we use apples, oranges, bananas to kind of as a face for, like, let's say it's nutrition, training, sleeping, being the best versions of ourselves. Like if it's not that, it can't be the answer. So there has to be a different answer. Does that make sense?
Or it just doesn't fit.
Or
It's
it just doesn't fit. Like it's
Yeah.
like to think there's always a solution, and the only thing stopping you from a solution is effort. And if you're not willing to put the effort in, then good luck. You know,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Our functioning brains have the ability to solve every single problem on the planet. Every
Yes,
single problem on the planet.
yes, yes,
Every
yes,
single problem of the universe, we have the ability to solve.
yes.
So if you are working with a person who has a defeatist mentality and says, "Oh, we can't do it," then they are not using their brain to the fullest potential. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
They're not asking the question how. They are just telling themselves a definitive statement. They're making a declaration. They can't. Done.
yeah. And to add to that, even if they do ask themselves those questions, a lot of the times people's egos get in the way of actually achieving the solution, because it might make them look bad, or they might have to lower their standard of living, or they might have to compensate somewhere to make that solution occur, and that will take away from the way people see them, or the way they think people see them in that moment, and they're not willing to sacrifice that. And that's a daily sacrifice. Like, I don't care what you think about me now at all, because I am finding the solution for a different problem that isn't even today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess that kind of brings us back to the point when it comes to we really got to start setting the culture. And again, if I'm like pointing to this, like, yeah, his job was coach, right? He was the coach of the Bulls, and he was the coach of the LA Lakers. And yes, he got the final say when it came to decision making, but his strategy was to empower every single person on the team to see themselves as their own leaders, contributing their own ideas and their own suggestions to the common goal of winning championships. And if we can kind of create that culture within this Natty King empire, however you'd like to describe it, where every person who's associated with this project sees themselves as their own leader and is empowered to make contributions in an effective way that actually pushes us closer to the bottom line, that bottom line being the crowning of the Natty King and having the first new sports icon in the sport of bodybuilding in the past like several decades. Like, that's the ultimate goal, at least for season one. At least for season one, you know? So we basically have to set this culture where people are feeling that empowerment and aren't thinking about themselves and the self-aggrandization of themselves, and more about the what is this common goal that we're all unified on. And I know that you're there, I know that I'm there, I know that certain people are there, but we have to create that across the board so far as this culture is concerned.
I'm literally, after this call, I'm gonna DM everybody. I'm literally just gonna direct message them and be like, yo, like, how do you see this project? And please lay out your questions now, because we got work to do.
Okay, and I love the enthusiasm. If I can give any kind of suggestion, I love direct reaching out. I love that. My best recommendation, because we have to start slow, and we have to like work on reshaping their perception of this sport. Right now, the sport is like a solo endeavor. Yeah, I'll be a part of this project. Like, I'll throw my hat in the ring for like the title of the Natty King. Right? That's the current perception. We have to shift that perception over to, oh, the Natty King needs to get crowned for the betterment of the sport, for the betterment of the fitness industry, and for the betterment of the human population, right? So
Right.
my recommendation is lead with enthusiasm. We don't want to be pushy to these athletes. We do not want to be pushy. They are doing us a favor by giving us their brand, their name and likeness to be associated with this project. So we're very grateful. We're so excited to work with them in this way. And we're just like sharing ourselves, our enthusiasm. We are sharing our enthusiasm on this project with them.
Yes, I completely agree. I think okay, let me get my thoughts together here. Something is causing these athletes to want to suffer to get to the stage. We have to find out, like, why. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you doing this? Do you know what I mean? Like, because I know for me, like, bodybuilding kind of saved my life. Like pushing myself like this saved my life. So it's like, if there's any sense of that within you, like, let's investigate that, because I really think that the passion you put in to doing this, like, I'm forever grateful that this sport saved my life. So that's why it's so easy for me to like not have an ego involved with this, because it's like, man, I'm here. Like,
Because
go ahead.
the bodybuilding, like, you did that before you started competing.
Yes.
The way I see it is the competing gave you structure to it. It wasn't even like, I'm going to compete for a placing. It gave you the structure to like have a show that you were like a date that you were preparing for and everything, and then time off of it, and how do I learn how to rebound.
I think
properly.
what you're getting at is the spirit that got me to get to the point where I can compete is what we need to pull out of these individuals. I think like like before you started competing, that little person in you growing up, like aspired to be someone, somewhere, somehow. And the fact that we can advance this platform for each other is so amazing. And I just think we need to get to the root of why people started this bodybuilding in the first place is really.
Yeah, and I also want to trace it down even further. It's like, yeah, bodybuilding, great, and I love where your head's at. I love the sport of bodybuilding. I only discovered it like 2-3 years ago, and I'm so grateful that I found this sport. Man, I'm so incredibly grateful. But
Yeah.
we can whittle it down even further. What did this sport provide me, right? What did it provide me? It provided me an outlet to pursue physical greatness. This is like an opportunity to see what my physical peak can look like and can always improve upon, right? During that process, and again, when I look at the framework of what is the greatest story of all time, it is the hero's journey with an emphasis on the friends we made along the way. So
Yeah.
if each of us see ourselves as our own hero, which every athlete and every person has the opportunity to see themselves as that, as the main character, as the hero of their own story, and the greatest story of all time is the emphasis on the friends that they made along the way. Well, you're my friend. Emma, you're my friend. So it's like we have to start training that understanding that the athletes that we're competing against, they're making us better. They're making us sharper, and they're making this pursuit of greatness that much more valuable. Because without this competition, without these iron sharpening irons, we would not be where we are today.
Oh, yes. So it's kind of like if you think of an artist, right? So they have a color palette in their hand with all different colors, like the top 10 athletes. It's like we all have something that creates that big picture. So it's like to think that, maybe if you mix yellow with red and you mix purple with green, it's like you're going to create a way better picture than if you just like put red, put green, put purple. It's like you're not going to get that in-depth, beautiful piece of art. And that is the future of this sport. That beautiful piece of art is the future of this sport. So we have to mingle our colors together, and we have to understand how my negatives may influence your positives and your positives influence my negatives, because together they create something that wouldn't be there before.
Amen. Amen. And what you're describing, and again, this also gets referenced in the book, but it's greater than the sum of all parts. So, like, let's say right now it's 10 athletes, right? And if you add 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10, you get 10. It's like now we have 10 athletes. That's the sum of the parts. What we're talking about right now is a multiplication.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, and it will compound. It will
Correct.
compound
And
because
that's how we change the world.
that's how we change the world.
That's exactly how we change the world.
Yes, it
So, yeah,
is.
yeah, I'm getting goosebumps. Okay, well, I'm in complete support of you reaching out to all the athletes. Again, we don't want to be pushy. We want to be enthusiastic and excited. Like, we know that we are changing the world with this project. We understand that.
Yes.
And the athletes have, like, their understanding might not be at the same level, but they have, like, an awareness that this is, like, a meaningful moment in the history of the sport and the history of the industry. And, like, we just have to basically reaffirm it. Like, yo, this is crazy. Like, we're
Yes.
redefining.
They must look at the 70s and 80s and the golden era as like I bet you they wanted to be part of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like I did. Like, I grew up wanting to be the cool guy on Venice Beach lifting the weights with that cool culture where, like, you don't know why they're there, but they're all there and they're contributing, and that's what made the sport so great. So we're in that right now, and you're actually picked to be here. And that means we believe in you, you know? So let's believe in ourselves, and
Amen.
let's keep going.
Yeah, man. Okay. Well, Will, like, I have to pick up my son, but this was
That's totally
great.
cool.
Thank you. Yeah, no, this was great. I'm so excited. I love your enthusiasm. Honestly, I think you have a heart of gold, and you truly inspire me. You truly inspire me. And Emma, it was so great to meet you virtually. That's like a final note that I'll make. You've got this book. You've got great stories like the Golden Era with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they were meeting in person. So many times great sports stories happen in person. So what we're doing, having this be like an online community first, this has never been done before in like the history of like great sports stories. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. It does not mean that this can't be equivalent to something like the Chicago Bulls 95, 96, 97. It's like we can make it at that same level of impact. And in fact, if we can land this ship correctly, which I know that we will, this will actually create a bigger impact because most of the community is online.
Yeah.
Like there's 8 billion people on the planet. There's no way that we're going to be able to meet with every single person on the planet face to face. So an online community really should be fleshed out in this way that we're doing right now. And we should be able to show it in like a very cool and impactful way that changes the world.
Time will tell, brother. Time will tell.
Amen.
I'm like we said from the very beginning, we can loop back to it. I am not even 1% fearful that this won't follow through. You know, like dude, there's too much going on that just like, it just all makes sense. You close your eyes and you just, yep.
We are on the same page, man, and I'm so glad to have you on the team and to live this experience with you. Thank you to Emma, who is able to support you in this way. Please keep your eyes open, take notes, make observations, keep each other grounded, and let's just like enjoy this period. Things will accelerate in a way that we're going to need each other. We are going to need each other. So like let's just stay grounded and remember to have fun.
Tell your son he has the best dad in the world. So tell yourself that. Tell yourself that.
You're gonna make me cry. All right, this is great.
You're the fucking man.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Talk to you.
All right, bro. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Thank you.